So it's been a while since I last created a video, and the channel's actually went through a name change. It used to be something like Inside Merch, and now it is called The Simple Take. And with the name change, it's kind of the theme of the channel. I'm hoping will change a little bit also. So I'll try to add information about Merch by Amazon here and um, like websites like Etsy and print on demand in general. But I also want to talk on topics like advertising, topics like finance, and just money management in general. And hopefully, I can expand upon them topics on this channel, and you guys will enjoy that. For this video, since it's kind of my return back into making YouTube videos, I just want to first go into just where I am right now on Merch by Amazon. And so in this video, I'm just going to give you a quick update on my numbers and then kind of the methodology that I'm using, or not the methodology, but maybe just the that process that I'm using to implement ads to increase my sales this year. This year is going to kind of be a big year for me when it comes to ad spend. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll understand why I am kind of going all in with ads this year. So let's just look at my sales for February. So February is a short month, so it was only 28 days. And you can see when we look here that I did 847 sales. If you're unaware, what I mainly sell on Merch by Amazon, 99% of the products I sell on Merch by Amazon are pop sockets. I don't sell shirts, I don't sell sweaters, I don't do any of that stuff. I focus 100% of my time on pop sockets. So when I show you these numbers, just keep in mind that these are almost exclusively sales that came from pop sockets. So if we look at our actual total royalties for here for February, we can see we did about $2,800. But and you could see that if we come down here, that's about $14,000 in revenue. So if we look down over here on our revenue share, over here you can see that in the last 30 days, I'm doing about 19.2 percent of the revenue share between the product. So Amazon's getting about 80% of that, and I'm getting about 19.2. Now, if we look at this all time on my account, you may notice that that's actually a much lower number. And that's because when I'm running ads, I decided that I wanted to set the price on all my products um, to a higher price amount. So I was originally selling pop sockets at $14.99 or $15.99, and I decided that since I'm gonna be using ads to really push these products in front of people's faces, that I think that I can actually get away with increasing the price. And so I did that. I increased it to $16.99 per pop socket. And some of you guys may be thinking that's crazy because we know that Pop Socket Company sells their pop sockets for about $10. So I'm selling mine for $17. They're selling theirs for $10. How am I making any sales? Well, I just have better designs, and I'm kind of forcing my products in front of people's faces. So people don't necessarily, when they're looking for pop sockets, they're not looking for the price necessarily. They're looking for something that fits their phone design and their personality. And so if I can meet both of them qualifications, then I can win the sale. even if my price is higher. So on average, in the last 30 days, I did 19.2% revenue share. In the last 7 days, I've actually managed to increase that to 20.4. So that's because it was kind of at the beginning of the year in January is when I started to do the price increase, and so it kind of took a little time for that to for that split to come and kind of increase. Um, so if we also look over here, you'll notice that I have 82 new items sold. Before I go any further, actually, I should say that this right here that you're seeing here is called Producer, I believe. Let me just double check here. Yeah, it's a productor for Merch by Amazon. It's a Chrome extension, and that's how you can get this information here. I know everyone uses Pretty Merch, but I can get all the relevant information that I want through this extension without having to pay the monthly or yearly fees that Pretty Merch now makes their customers do. To get more than just the same date data, I can get long term data with just this information here, or this extension here. So to get back on topic here, I had 42 new items sold just this month that have never sold before. And this is because of ads. I make an ad for every single product that I create. Now, I'm not creating an ad for every individual products, but I create an ad group. So it has a set of between 4 to 8 products. And since it's just pop sockets, between 4 and 8 different pop socket designs as a single ad. I run that. I run 3 different campaigns within them 4 to 8 like at pop socket pop socket designs, I should say. And so this month, 82 of them have sold for the first time. And of them 82 designs, most of them designs are less than a month old. And almost 90% of them are less than 2 months old. So meaning that I've created them sometime this year and they've already sold. Total designs sold. They are 121. So, and we had 24 returned or 28 returns, and by far US is the greatest selling country for pop sockets. UK in any other market, they don't really buy pop sockets, so I don't really do ads there. With the exception of I have one pop socket that I sell in the UK that jumps in and out of the top 200 spot for UK pop sockets. And to put that in perspective, what a top 200 spot is in the UK, for that pop socket, I sell maybe 1 or 2 of that pop socket in that country a day. So if you can sell a pop socket every single day in the UK, that same pop socket design every single day in the UK, you too can have a product that is in the top 200 of all pop sockets in the UK market. So that gives you an idea how little pop sockets sell in the UK, much less any other demographic. So we're gonna scroll down, and before I actually scroll down, I just want to give you a little comparison of year to year sales. So my current year sales, you could see I've done just this year already more than I did in total. I'm sorry if you hear scratching in the background. That's my dog eating. But in total, I've done this year, I've done more than I did for the entirety of last year, and that's 100% because of ads. And you may notice that there's a pretty big difference in revenue or royalties also, and that has to do a lot with the price increase that I said that I did starting this year. And so if we scroll down, it's going to become more evident. If we look at our timeline here, so let me set it to just the 1 year here. And so if we just look at, so this is January of 2022, and this is all the way to our current year. You could see that um, between even between January into February, there was a huge increase. So last year, uh, I did 14 sales in the U.S. and that is like that's 27 sales total across all markets. And this year, I did 875. So I guess you guys are wondering, like, well, you did spend a whole bunch of money on ads. So how much of that did you actually pocket? And um, surprisingly, I the percentage wise was very low, but the dollar value was more than usual. So before I actually go into that, I just want to give you guys perspective on what I was normally making last year per month. So you could see I did $110 royalty. These are most of these months, with the exception of some of October, November, and December. There was no ads being ran. So January 110, February $64, March 91, April 94, May 151. And I think in May I have a specific design that allowed that increase to happen. It kind of is a seasonal one that I don't do any. It just, for whatever reason, every year it sells at that time frame. I don't even remember what that design is, but there is a design that hits that in that month. $92 in June. July we have 92 again. And in August we have 56. September we had August we had 110, and September we have 169. And then we're starting to get into the quarter four here. We're actually in quarter four. So in October, I always get increases in sales because I have a couple of products that go off that really like hit in October. So I have an October design, and I have a what is that? Um, Breast cancer awareness. I have a breast cancer awareness shirt, and I have a Halloween design that kind of go off in October every year. So I always get a nice spike every year for that. And then November, you still have a little bit of the breast cancer awareness happening there. So I still have a continuation of that spike there. And then in December, it's up always just because it is Christmas. I don't have anything particularly that happens in December. I don't really do seasonal designs, so I don't really have like Christmas designs. They really pop off then, but just in general, December is a pretty good month for me. But if we compare our December to even our January, you don't see much of a drop off, and that's because that's when I started doing ads, like really doing ads was in January, and then it kind of snowballed into this month. And so I'm gonna show you my Excel spreadsheet here, just to give you an idea. So in November, so before I'll just explain what this looks like here. So this is my November up until the current February, sales versus ad sales. So here you see my sold. So this is just the items sold on Amazon, and this is the account of that. This is how many were sold via ads, and then this is the variation, or the variance, I should say, between the two. So if we look at this month, I sold a total of 847 products, right? Of the 847, 626 of them came from ads, and then that automatically means that 221 of them were found organically through whatever mechanism on Amazon. That's about a 26% organically found listings. And The reason I like to keep track of what percentage that is just to see the if my if I see a kind of a separation between organic sales and ad sales. Because what I want is I want to see this number here increase month after month. I want to see more of the organic sales coming in. And so if we move over here, we talk about the actual dollar amounts being used. So this is the actual royalties that I got. Um, and then of that, this is how much I had to spend to get that amount of royalties. So you see that I had 2,700 or about 2,800 in royalties, but I had to spend $2,000 to get that. And so I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, wow, well, you kind of got nothing out of that, right? You only made $764. Whoopee, right? That's only about 27% profit essentially between the two numbers. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how could that possibly be worth it, right? But remember, if we go back to the listing here, before I was doing ads, I was getting like on a good month, maybe $100. Okay. So I'm not doing even a quarter of what I was doing in February, even if we take into account how much I was spending in ads. So, um, so while this number, as a percentage is small, the actual number is a substantial increase in actual take home royalties that I'm actually getting. And what's interesting is if we look at January, where I really started to really ramp in, you can see that I'm matching December pretty well in terms of sales, right? And you can see that I'm about a 45% organic sale. So I'm getting about 45% of my sales organically. Whereas this month you can see it's at about 26%. So it's much lower, right? But let's look at our actual take home. I only took home $30 in January. Most of that money, most of that royalty went into ads. But the curious part is that the investment that happened in January paid off in February. So the products that were selling the most because of the ads had some of the largest increases in organic sales in February. You could the separation between organic sales and paid sales, it 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 just became extreme. So at the beginning of the month, I was happy if I made a $50 day and I spent $50 in ads. That was a good day for me. That means like I didn't lose any money that day. Okay. And now I'm starting to see where I'm I'm making $100 a day and I'm only spending $30 to $50 in ads. So the separation is really happening now. And it's only going to continue to increase the the longer these ads uh, continue to run, because Amazon is going to continue to optimize the ads and how they display them, and I'm going to continue to tweak them to make them perform better, so they can only be better performing, and that's even seen in the data here. So if we look, it was costing me to get a single sale with ads last month, and I'm sorry, in January, because it's just turned March. So in January, it took me $5. I had to spend $5 to get one sale. And in January, I was getting about $2.86 per sale. So I was losing almost half of my money on every sale just to acquire one sale. $5. That's crazy, right? So, but this month or last month, February, I managed to drop that down to $3.23 to acquire one sale. And at the same time, I managed to increase the dollar that I got back per sale. So my actual dollar per sale, which is $3.29, that's how much I make on average. That's got to take into consideration that I started the month at a lower cost basis. So I believe the dollar per sale at the beginning of the month was still somewhere close to this. So it was closer to maybe $2.99, $2.90, somewhere right like that. And then by the end of the month, I got that to $3.29. For a pop socket currently at $16.99, you get $3.68. So $3.68 is a perfect profit margin. So you can see that I'm getting pretty close to that on average, and the cost per sale is actually under the cost per the amount of profit I'm getting per item. So for every item I'm selling through an ad, I'm on average making money from that sale. It's costing me less to acquire that customer. So and you can see that, like, this is only going to continue to go up, and hopefully this number will continue to go down. And this is why I think it's so important to run ads, and a lot of people don't understand the importance of running ads. I'm not saying this because I want more competition. I'm saying this because I know that most of you aren't going to go out there and run ads, so you aren't even my competition. But it doesn't mean I can't give you the advice that I know that you should hear. The way you should think about ads, in my opinion, is not that I spent $2,000, right? Because that's a defeatist kind of attitude. I didn't spend $2,000. Amazon is giving me that back. Okay. In a month, I'm getting almost $2,800 back into my bank account. So I didn't spend anything, really, right? What I did was I spent $2,000 to make $764. But if I didn't spend this money, I definitely wouldn't have made this. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta spend a dollar to make a dollar. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that, well, when I create this ad, I'm spending all this money and I don't see the sales, and I gotta just quit the ad game because it's not worth it, right? But with that mindset, you're not staying in the game long enough to even see the results, because ads take a while to perform. And a lot of people like to say that Merch by Amazon is passive income. I don't believe in passive income. I don't think it truly exists, not for you, not for me, maybe for millionaires and billionaires because they can live off interest, which is true passive income. But um, Merch by Amazon is not passive income. It is it is much easier to get income, and the more work you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. But it's not passive income, not if you want to be successful. And so, um, I just wanted to get you guys to have an idea, get you up to date on where I am right now on Merch by Amazon, and my plans in the future for this channel is to kind of talk more about finances. I really want to break down. Um, I'm gonna continue to do these sales reports, but I really want to break down like how I am using ads to perform here. I want to talk a little bit about Etsy. I'm trying to be successful with Etsy. It is not as easy as it is for Merch by Amazon, but you know, uh, Etsy takes more time than Merch by Amazon to really kind of get the sales going. Um, and hopefully, I can move into maybe even Walmart and these other marketplaces. Maybe venture into eBay with print on demand. But I also want to talk about finances and my financial journey and like ways that I can help you guys become more financially sound. And Because these last few years, I've really kind of came into myself when it came to um, building up my credit, learning how money really works, and I think that I have some data that and some opinions that I think that you guys would be interested in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did get to the end, leave a comment, leave a like. Make sure that if you're not subscribed, to subscribe. And I appreciate you guys who have continued to be subscribed, even though I have not been releasing any content for you guys. I really do appreciate that, and hopefully, we can rebuild this channel into something that was even greater than it was before.